I'm making this video to discuss different weight loss strategies. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and discuss calorie deficits, insulin, blood sugar, carb cycling, and high versus low glycemic foods. So, in terms of weight loss, tracking your calories is mandatory. It doesn't matter if you eat a bunch of healthy foods. If you're overeating, you're going to gain weight. You could technically eat cake and lose weight if you're tracking your calories and if you're in a deficit. So that's basically the main aspect, but there's different parts to that. And obviously that's not going to work for everyone. So I'm making this video to create an optimal weight loss plan so that your metabolism stays efficient, so that you have energy for working out, and that your stomach feels full when you're about to go to sleep. You're not, having an empty stomach, which might cause some trouble sleeping. So, in terms of tracking your calories, you're basically gonna, you can use an app like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, and you're gonna put in basic information like height, weight, age, and it'll give you a ballpark of how many calories you should be consuming to maintain your weight, to lose weight, or to gain weight. Now, after about a week of tracking calories, you'll kind of be able to, recalibrate it for your specific metabolism. Maybe you'll add a couple hundred calories, or you need to reduce it by a couple hundred. But once you get that part down, then we can get into sort of the technical stuff like insulin and blood sugar. Okay, so to kind of go into a little detail here, your body releases insulin when blood sugar levels rise. Obviously, when you eat carbohydrates, pasta, potatoes, etc., your blood sugars will rise, and then your body's going to go ahead and release insulin. So when it releases insulin, insulin is the storage hormone. So it's going to take a portion of what you've consumed. It's going to store it in the muscle as glycogen. If there's a little bit excess, it's going to store it in your body fat. But if insulin isn't present, which, it's the storage hormone, it's going to be very hard for your body to store body fat. So, certain foods are called low glycemic, certain foods are called high glycemic. They're called low glycemic because they're less likely to cause your blood sugar levels to rise, and the high glycemic ones are like, foods like candy, pasta, for example, more likely to cause that blood sugar rise, cause your body to release insulin, and then tell it to go ahead and start storing that food that you just consumed, that fuel that you just consumed, as glycogen and as fat. Now, certain examples of eating where your blood sugar levels are less likely to rise are low carbohydrate diets, for example. In these sort of diets, you can still consume carbohydrates. You just want to use them optimally. So, for example, you can have high protein meals, let's say, for example, fish, some vegetables, and then for your carbohydrates, you would have something like quinoa, and that is an example of a low glycemic food. It is less likely to cause your body's blood sugar levels to rise, therefore not as likely for your body to release insulin or as much insulin. And then your body will go ahead and try to utilize what it's consumed in terms of promoting energy and storing more fuel in your muscles. And as you do this over time, your body's insulin sensitivity will improve. Insulin sensitivity means your body is more receptive to insulin. And the good news is that means your body needs to release less insulin for you to go ahead and utilize its beneficial effects. And when you do this and you are utilizing insulin to the best of your body's ability, you're going to be more likely to go ahead and burn stored body fat for fuel. And another thing you should know is that when insulin levels are low, body actually secretes more growth hormone. So those two are kind of opposites of each other. When Insulin is present, growth hormone is low. When insulin is low, growth hormone will be more present. And then just to kind of give you guys some, different types of ideas for certain foods and timing, for example. With the high glycemic carbohydrates, you can have those, and you can also have the low glycemic ones within a diet called the carb cycling diet. Now, with the carb cycling diet, there's going to be 3 main days: a low carb, medium carb, and a high carb day. With the low carb day, I would personally go ahead and recommend keeping your carbs around 50 to 100. And on the medium carb days, I would recommend having your carbs around 150 to 200. And on the high carb days, you could target around 250 to 300. Now, for the high carb days, I know a lot of people like to have those on the workout day. Like, let's say you have an intense leg workout or back workout coming up, you want to have the high carbs on that day. But for me personally, I like to have the high carb day a day before that intense workout so that my muscle glycogen stores are filled up. And then on that day of the workout, I would maybe have the medium carbs. And then the next day maybe might be a rest day. That would be a good day to utilize the low carbs. And you could try this sort of diet out, cycling your carbohydrates like that, while still tracking your calories, because that is mandatory. Try this diet for about 12 weeks. You should lose at least about 2 pounds per week if you're tracking your calories, and if you're doing, an additional hour of cardio per day. So maybe you're burning about 500 calories from your diet per day from the deficit that you've created, and maybe 500 from an hour or so of running, for example. And that 1,000 calorie that you're burning per day, it should come out to about 7,000 calorie deficit per week, which is about 2 pounds per week. And if you do a diet like that for about 12 weeks, we're talking about 24 pounds. Now, ideally, you would, only lose about 2 pounds per week, keep your protein high, and that way your body will be more likely to preserve muscle tissue, and so you don't really lose a lot of strength over those 12 weeks. Because when you're in a deficit, it could be very demanding on your body. And oftentimes, if you don't keep your protein high, you might notice a lot of strength lost. So definitely go ahead and, I would, recommend this diet, but ultimately you're going to have to do what's best for you. So these are just, some tips that you can incorporate into your diet plan. Ultimately, you want to make it tailor-made. Maybe you have a faster metabolism, or let's say maybe if you have insulin issues, stuff like that, you're going to have to go ahead and decide when to have your carbs. And depending on your appetite, you might need to, let's say, for example, incorporate a little bit more fiber into your diet. Sometimes people just get really hungry when they're dieting, and if you keep the fiber high, your stomach can feel full and satiated, and it can also help manage your blood sugar, and that can kind of allow you to kind of get through the day while keeping the calories low. So that's definitely a good tip. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's kind of the basics of creating an efficient carb cycling weight loss plan. And this is a great way to preserve muscle if you're, into really into fitness and bodybuilding.